My first course attempt outside of higher education was a disaster, and I am going to share what I learned. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and even though that one was a disaster, I have been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. So, the first thing I created that was a disaster was a course on creating video. So, I had taught creating video. I had been creating my own videos since you had to hand caption them. And so when someone said, you should create a course on videos, I said, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. That's easy. I could do that in my sleep. And so I did what I always do with a new course. I created some goals. I made a course map so I knew like a sketchy idea of what I was going to be doing. I planned out how I was going to have them actually reach those goals. And then I tried to sell it, and then it didn't sell. But that's because I skipped like some really big important steps. And that was like asking more than one person about it, right? I didn't talk to the people that I had already been working with. I've been doing one-on-one work. I didn't, ask the people that were following me on social media. I didn't have an email list yet at the time, but if I had, that would have been a good place to go. And so I wasn't doing kind of the focused, targeted market research that's necessary in order to know whether or not this is something people want. I also didn't love it, right? It was something I was focusing on because at the time, video was like a hot topic, to video or not to video, when really I'll teach video, but the thing that I love to talk about is how to create really good learning experiences. So I went back and started talking to the people that I had already been serving, right? So what was the theme, the pieces that were themes throughout my work with them? What were the jobs that they were doing, the jobs that they needed help with? And what kinds of things could I start pulling out and starting to systematize them, right? Starting to create standard activities, standard information that I was giving. And it was really eye-opening. Like when I talked to people, it was like, oh yeah, I guess we did do that together. Oh, and I did that same thing with you. And sometimes I didn't even have to go back and ask, right? Sometimes it was just a matter of sitting down and writing, okay, what steps did I take them through? Right? And what did we accomplish at each one of those steps? And then I decided to find a few folks that I was going to walk through this process with, this framework with, step by step, one-on-one still, right? We were still doing this one-on-one because I needed to get kind of an idea and a feel for any areas where they were getting hung up, because that is a good indication of I need to go rework this. They're not understanding. They're not, making the leaps that I need them to make in order to be successful. So I did that and I got feedback, right? So I used the feedback that I got to improve that process before I started to think about how I could pull it into a course. And I didn't even pull it into a course first because if you've been following me, I preach about action-based learning and I practice what I preach. And so I took those things and I actually made them into guides and workbooks. And so some of the free things that I have out in the world are the result of having gone through that process with real people. And it's a thing that I built in response to it, right? That's how I know it works because I've actually used it with people. And then so as I've done that work and I've built those guides and I've built those activities, I have started to pull them in to a single activity book, right? And so this was the basis for my course that still only got 2 people in the beta, right? And the thing that I heard the most when I was running the beta version of that course was, I feel like I need more time. And that's not because I was restricting the time in the course. They had access to the materials for as long as I was planning on being in business. The thing that they wanted more time with was actually me. Because I was trying to keep boundaries, we know those are important, I was limiting the amount of access to me that they would have. So you can get feedback on things for 3 months or 4 months. I think I made it 4 months for this price, and it was a set price. And so in talking to someone who was interested, but like that was their thing that they were worried about, they asked me, have you thought about a membership? I said, no, I haven't thought about a membership, in part because of things that, supporting a lot of faculty in higher ed, I had some things. But instead of just jumping right into a membership, I started to ask people. I asked LinkedIn. I did some polls on LinkedIn, and I asked people that I had worked with, like, hey, thinking back, is this something you would have been interested in? And so now I have course materials and curriculum, and I have the support, the very specific support that they need, and they can come and go in this membership. And so far, cross fingers, so good. But this is how you kind of build something that, one, you love, right? It has to be something you love. Two, it works for the content. So I have people in my membership at both ends and in between of the process, right? And so it fits. It has to fit how they're coming to me and what I'm teaching. And it also has to be something that helps with the next job that they need to get done, and something that feels like it's going to help. So my current things that are working didn't just happen like that. They were an evolution and a cycle, right? Of what do I like to do? Well, mistakes. We've already been through the mistakes, but when I really got down to it, what do I like to do? What do people want? What do I like to do? What do people want? What fits what I like to do and what people want, right? And kind of following that evolution to get to something that now is working. And for me, it took really honing in on what do they need? How can I create something that fits that need? And what is the magic, right? What are the things that I am particularly good at that can be put into something that's more on demand and that can't? And that's how I ended up in a membership where the things that I can't replicate about me are the things that I am providing in the membership piece. And so as you are working through, okay, well, what should my course be about and what should I pull in and how do I move from live to on demand? Those are the kinds of things that you're going to need to think about. If you want help with that, I do have a strategy session and it is linked in the description. In my next video, I am going to talk through how to take all of that skills and knowledge and things that you get excited about and actually make it into a course. One that you actually want to create and they will actually want to buy.